How's it going, everyone? We are coming up on the month of October, and I don't think it would be too much of a stretch to say that it's one of the most stacked months of new game releases of the entire year. There's a lot of variety in what's coming out, a lot of options in terms of genres, and in this video I want to highlight all of the PlayStation 5 games that you should be looking forward to in the month of October. Again, a plethora of titles. This isn't even everything. Remember, games always get announced and sometimes have really quick turnarounds. Sometimes you'll see a slight delay even when you're this close to a release date, so just bear all of those things in mind. We've got first-person shooters, JRPGs, PlayStation 5 upgrades, free-to-play titles, lot to go over, so let's get right into it, and let's start things off with an action RPG coming from Gotham Knights on publisher Prime Matter. That is the Last Oricru. The Last Oricru is an action RPG with a strong emphasis on storytelling and player choices. The player awakens in a sci-fi medieval world on the brink of a war and starts influencing the destiny of the whole world. The game is designed as both a single player and a cooperative experience, so depending on how you want to play, you'll have the option in playing it a variety of different ways. That goes from just the cooperative aspect to it, but also the decision making throughout the game, probably lending itself to being pretty replayable. The game notes dig into the forgotten past of the world, uncover the conspiracy behind the events that take place as you play, let sides of the conflict make you understand their motives for fighting or disregard everything and everyone and just make the world burn. The story of the Last Oricru is complex, and it may take multiple different playthroughs to make all the pieces of the puzzle finally click together. You've got impactful decisions, challenging combat, and couch cooperative play in the title as well. The Last Oricru will be dropping on October 13th. Next up, let's go on over to a Japanese RPG. We have Star Ocean: The Divine Force. Yes, the latest title in a long-running franchise. Star Ocean is finally back with Star Ocean: The Divine Force. This has been a long time coming, and I know at this point, Star Ocean does not have the mass appeal that maybe it once had, and it never really got to the level of popularity of, let's say, other Square Enix IPs like a Final Fantasy or a Kingdom Hearts, but Star Ocean has still been a very notable franchise. Unfortunately, some of the more recent Star Ocean games, most notably Star Ocean 4 and Star Ocean 5 Integrity and Faithlessness, have left a lot to be desired. Divine Force is the latest game since Integrity and Faithlessness, and it looks to be a very big step up for the franchise. Is it a technical masterclass? Absolutely not, but from a gameplay standpoint, environment standpoint, and a character standpoint, all those elements are shaping up nicely, and if you have yet to, there is a free demo available so you can try out the game on PlayStation 5, and the game will ultimately be released on October 27th. Next up, quite possibly the biggest release of October, and quite possibly the biggest game release for the rest of the year. You can have your opinion on Call of Duty, but guess what? It is still a juggernaut of an IP, and now we are coming up on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and it will be coming to PlayStation 5 on October 28th. Of course, this is a sequel to the Modern Warfare reboot. I am very, very surprised at how many people seem to think that this is a remake of 2009's Modern Warfare 2. It is absolutely not that. Hopefully the majority of you guys jumped into the open beta that was readily available and you got a taste of the game. I personally had a good time with it. It's Call of Duty. It's something that I can always have a pretty enjoyable experience out of. I am interested more so to see how the campaign turns out. I know Call of Duty campaigns aren't everybody's cup of tea and most people are buying it for the multiplayer, but I thought Modern Warfare 2019 was pretty good all around, and hopefully this is building upon that quite nicely. Now, if you do pre-order the game, you do get campaign early access, you get the Final Judgment bundle, and you get some other in-game content, so that is something to note. Now, obviously, Call of Duty has made the jump to a $70 price tag for the PlayStation 5 copies of the game, so that is something to keep in mind as well, but at this point, you probably know whether or not you're picking up Modern Warfare 2, and hopefully the beta only finalize your judgment on that. Modern Warfare 2 will be dropping on October 28th. Next up, another pretty notable PlayStation 5 release of a PlayStation 4 game, but this one isn't a free upgrade. Persona 5 Royal will be hitting PlayStation 5 on October 21st. Now, the fact that this does not have a free upgrade, yikes, kind of egregious on that standpoint, because ain't nobody be trying to spend $60 on this game again, especially given the fact that the game goes on sale on PlayStation 4 for, $21 for, like, the deluxe edition. So, spending $60 on the PS5 edition, probably not the best idea. I do know it's going to come with a lot of in-game content and whatnot, so that is something to consider. Persona 5 Royal, just objectively assessing the game, absolute masterclass of a Japanese RPG. It is an absolutely tremendous game with a great soundtrack, great gameplay, a slick visual style, excellent storytelling. You can go on and sing the praise of Persona 5 Royal. It's also nice that outside of the PlayStation 5 release, it will be hitting all these other platforms, Xbox finally, Nintendo Switch, PC. That is great to see, and more people are going to be able to try out Persona 5 Royal. At the very least, it'll be nice to see a PlayStation 5 upgrade, but, you know, it's not a free upgrade. It's not even one where you can spend $10 and get the upgrade, so take that for what you will. Persona 5 Royal will be hitting PlayStation 5 on October 21st. Next up, a major free-to-play release and a major sequel, Overwatch 2 will be dropping on October 4th. Of course, free for everyone, Overwatch 2 arrives on October 4th as an always-on free-to-play experience. Group up with friends to experience reimagined 5v5 gameplay featuring all new heroes, modes, and maps. Daily challenges and frequent updates means there's always something new to play. Obviously, a fast-paced shooter here, all new heroes, whether you like to lead the charge as a tank, ambush enemies with a powerful damage, or empower and aid your allies, there's a new hero for you and many more to come. An ever-expanding world. Travel the world, savor breathtaking sights, and clash on the streets of iconic locations like New York City, Rome, Toronto, and much more. More game modes than before. Additional game modes will join the existing lineup of ways to play, bring more objectives to capture, strategies to explore, and secrets to unearth. Overwatch 2 will be dropping on October the 4th. Next up, we have a free PlayStation 5 upgrade in the Eternal Cylinder. This has been available on PlayStation 4 for a little over a year, but now it is coming to the PlayStation 5 alongside an anniversary update. With this update, some new content will be dropping in the game. The Eternal Cylinder takes place on an alien world teeming with surreal environments, exotic beings, and awe-inspiring wonders, all dominated by the Cylinder, a gargantuan structure of ancient origin that relentlessly crushes everything in its path. The game notes, an unforgettable alien world, real-time environmental destruction, build your own alien family, solve ancient mysteries, and beware of the Cylinder's dark servants. Along with the base release, the new Anniversary Edition content will include new creatures, new mutations, new graphics options as well. On PlayStation 5, you can choose between 4K or ray tracing mode with support for haptic feedback and adaptive triggers on the DualSense wireless controller. The Eternal Cylinder hits next gen on October 13th. Next up, we have Alfred Hitchcock of Vertigo, which dropped on PC back in December of 2021. Saw a relatively positive reception over there, and now it's finally headed to PlayStation 5 in October. The game notes, can you trust your own mind? Immerse yourself in a psychological thriller of a new kind, playing with the limits between reality and fantasy, freely inspired by Alfred Hitchcock's universe. The game is a budget title, an original story about obsession, manipulation, and madness, inspired by Alfred Hitchcock's masterpiece of Vertigo, like a powerful narrative experience, paying tribute to the visual and storytelling techniques of the thriller genre. Investigate through the vision of three characters. Everyone has a different story to tell. Again, had a pretty positive reception on Steam, and now it is making the transition to PlayStation 5 in October. Next up, we have a pretty notable multiplayer anime title, Dragon Ball: The Breakers. Now, this is probably not the Dragon Ball game everybody would be expecting, but it is a pretty interesting one, being an asymmetrical action online title. The Breakers is an online asymmetrical action game in which a band of 7 ordinary citizens try to survive the raider who assumes the role of a classic Dragon Ball rival. This includes Cell, Frieza, Boo. That character is gonna hunt down all of the common civilians. You guys know how these games work. Kind of cool to see a Dragon Ball skin onto it, and best of all, it is coming at a budget price point of $19.99. I really think they couldn't have, prices at $40 or, God forbid, $60. But at $20 as a budget release, I think a lot of people will end up checking it out. Dragon Ball: The Breakers drops on October 14th. Speaking of multiplayer games, we have another one in Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed is a fun multiplayer game perfect for all skill levels. 4 proton pack-wielding Ghostbusters attempt to catch a ghost hunting unique locations in an asymmetrical multiplayer battle. As players progress, they will unlock cosmetics and upgrades for both Ghostbusters and Ghosts to evolve their gameplay experiences. The look and feel will deliver to fans as an immersive experience in the universe, allowing them to play out their ghost-busting fantasies. Whether hunting or haunting, the game is easy to learn and fun to master. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed will be dropping on October 18th. Next up, another very major multiplayer title that you can also play solo, Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord will finally be hitting PlayStation 5 on October 25th. The game has been in early access for quite a while, now seeing its full release on consoles as well. The horns sound, the ravens gather, an empire is torn by civil war. Beyond its borders, new kingdoms ride. Grid on your sword, don your armor, summon your followers, and ride forth to win glory on the battlefields of Calradia. Set forth on an epic adventure in a fictional Dark Ages sandbox that combines strategy and action action RPG gameplay. A lot of customizability within your character, gather companions, and use diplomacy, trade, and roguery to your advantage as you attempt to establish your clan among the ranks of the nobility. Raise armies to command and fight alongside in huge real-time battles and sieges using an extensive command system and an intuitive skill-based directional combat system. Mount & Blade has been a long-running franchise and one of the more popular franchises on PC for a very long time. Nice to see it gain more traction over on consoles as well. Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord will be hitting PlayStation 5 on October 25th. Next up, another major sequel, A Plague Tale Requiem. The follow-up to Plague Tale Innocence will finally be dropping on October 18th, and once again, you'll follow the story of Amicia and Hugo. In this heartfelt action-adventure title, embark on a heart-rending journey into a brutal, breathtaking world and discover the cost of saving those you love in a desperate struggle for survival. Strike from the shadows or unleash hell with a variety of weapons, tools, and unearthly power. Of course, A Plague Tale is a very engrossing, atmospheric game in a dark, visceral world. This is not for the faint of heart. It is a very, very gritty title, and there's a lot of things that go awry. Discover the cost of saving those you love in a desperate struggle for survive. Sequel to the award-winning adventure of Plague Tale Innocence, and if you have yet to play Innocence, there is a PlayStation 5 upgrade available for that. Looks and plays great. Highly recommend you check that out. A Plague Tale Requiem is set to be a 15 to 20 hour game that's all killer and no filler, so if you want a narrative-driven action-adventure game, this has to be on your radar. A Plague Tale Requiem drops on October 18th. Next up, we have Medieval Dynasty, a brand new survival title. Hunt, survive, build, and lead in the harsh Middle Ages. Create your own medieval dynasty and ensure its long-lasting prosperity or die trying. This dropped on PC back in September of 2021 and finally makes the transition to PlayStation 5, a medieval survival title. Europe in the early Middle Ages, the trade between nations brings prosperity as well as envy, distrust, and greed. Military conflict is everywhere and entire continents are changing. In Medieval Dynasty, you take on the role of a young man who has fled from war and wants to take his fate into his own hands. If you're into survival games in the medieval setting, definitely one to have on your radar. Medieval Dynasty will be dropping on October 6th. Next up, here's a major Switch title finally making the transition to PlayStation 5. We have No More Heroes 3. Travis Touchdown is back, baby. The otaku assassin takes up his trusty beam katana once more to slash his way to the top of the galactic superhero rankings and save the world in the latest entry in the No More Heroes series. Now, this game didn't have an overwhelmingly positive reception, but it did seem like if you're into quirky and zany action-adventure titles, beat-em-up titles, you're gonna enjoy this quite a bit, and seeing the upgrade on PlayStation 5 will be pretty nice as well. Obviously, No More Heroes, you gotta know what you're getting yourself into. It's a super over-the-top game. There's a lot of comedy in the game as well. I've always had fun with it, but make sure you go into No More Heroes knowing what to expect and not expecting anything too seriously, but a lot of quirky, zany, over-the-top fun. No More Heroes 3 will be dropping on October 11th. Next up, we have a Gotham Knights, a major release coming from Warner Bros. Games Montreal. Long time coming for Gotham Knights, initially scheduled to see a PlayStation 4 release as well. That has unfortunately been canceled, and the game will be a next-gen exclusive title. Batman is dead, a new expansive criminal underworld has swept the streets of Gotham City. It is now up to the Batman family, Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Robin to protect Gotham, bring hope to its citizens, discipline to its cops, and fear to its criminals, from solving mysteries that connect the darkest chapters in the city's history to defeating notorious villains in epic confrontations. It's an open-world action RPG set in the most dynamic and interactive Gotham City yet. Patrol Gotham's 5 distinct boroughs in solo or in cooperative play and drop in on criminal activity wherever you find it. This is a game that's going to have a lot of replayability as well, that's been noted, so expect to get your money's worth out of Gotham Knights. It officially releases on October 21st. And lastly, we have a new Borderlands game of a different kind, New Tales from the Borderlands. Obviously, this is going to be more of a narrative-driven, choice-driven title. Decide the fates of the altruistic scientist Anu and her ambitious streetwise brother Octavio, and the fierce Frogurt-slinging Fran. Claw and con your way through the 5 thrilling chapters. You'll have the game right out the gate, and for $39.99, it is more of a budget price point. Tales from the Borderlands, the one done by Telltale, I thought was fantastic. It had a lot of great comedy. The Borderlands comedy you know and love. The underdog story of 3 lovable nobodies, an extraordinary cinematic adventure. The Borderlands aren't just home to vault hunters, psychos, and weapons corp CEOs. They're full of downtrodden, intrepid civilians just trying to get by, with a host of returning and fresh faces, including an assassin bot with comedic aspirations and a less murderous than usual bandit. This unforgettable tale is sure to delight fans of new and old. Expect something pretty comedic here. New Tales from the Borderlands will be dropping on October 21st. And that is going to do it for me. Again, a ton of PlayStation 5 games coming in October, again with a lot of variety, a lot of options. I know Nobody's really going to be picking up every game in October, but a lot of games at the very least to go and put on your wish list. Maybe pick up down the line when they are discounted, but that's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts. Let us know what games you're excited for the most in October. And as always, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.